Hello everyone, it's time for a updated deck profile on my Spectral Dupe Dragon post Clan Collection 5 and 6. Or in this case, it might be called Spectral Dupe Dragon deck now, because Spectral Dupe surprisingly got the reverse unit for a Gold Paladin. I was expecting Ezel, but instead we got Spectral Dupe. Very surprising. It's a card I did not really expect. In fact, I was expecting Spectral Duke to be played with Chromejailer because both of them have a similar theme of being a Abyss Dragon Gold Paladin, but that didn't happen. And in a way, I am kind of glad that we got more Spectral Duke support because, well, this deck didn't really get any good upgrades for a long time, and Clan Collection is not really much when it comes to these clan supports. And I was really only expecting Chromejailer to be the only support card when it comes to for Spectral Duke, but we got the reverse unit, which also works as well, obviously, because it's a new form of it. And it's one I'd never expected. But anyway, how I feel about the deck, the new Spectral Dupe is fine. It's not like the most amazing card, but it does combo really well with Duke along with itself, because now with the new Spectral Dupe, it is possible to get 3 Vanguard attacks in one turn. Although, because of Spectral Duke and Dupe, with the old Limit Break playstyle in it, it's kind of the more damage you have, the stronger you're going to get. But you're going to be risking yourself death even further. So just be aware of that when it comes to playing this deck, because the damage zone is going to be very important. You want to hit 4, but that's also being close to death factor right there. So just keep that one in mind. But on that, it's just basically generic Gold Paladin. You just call a bunch of stuff. Has a mixed in of Shadow Paladin in it where you sacrifice your stuff just to do some stuff. Basically, that's it. Now anyway, to the deck, starting off with which gift type would you want to choose? You could go either, actually. If you want more power, go with Excel 1. Mainly because Spectral is about restanding Vanguard, so you're going to be getting drive checks out of it, and because this Gold Paladin we're talking about, we're going to be superior calling quite a bit as well. So there might be the risk deck out factor when it comes to choosing Excel 2, even though Excel 2 is better. But at the same time, you do want to fill up your rear guards way beforehand for even using your Duke Dragon skill. So you could go either, but personally I still choose Excel 2 because the draw is just very helpful. Now 1, it just depends as well. It is personal preference depending on the game. And now onto the deck itself. So first off, you obviously have to run 4 copies of your main boss unit, Spectral Duke Dragon. So first off, the skill is if you have Black Dragon Knight Vortimer and Soul, it's a grade 2 of the ride chain. It becomes a 13k base, and if your opponent's grade 3 or greater, critical +1. So it's going to be a crit of 2, 13k base. It's not much, especially one of Spectral Duke's biggest weakness is that it lacks power on its own without support. So just keep that one in mind. But that crit of 2 pressure is very powerful, especially with the second skill where auto at the end of the battle that attack, you can counterblast 1, retire 3 of your rear guards, and stand it, and then drive -1. But if you have 4 more damage, you get the drive +1 instead. So meaning, if you have 4 damage, twin drive, triple drive. That is very nasty, but just do keep in mind of the lack of power Spectral Duke Dragon has on its own. The restanding Vanguard with a crit of 2, very nasty indeed. And obviously, this is your main grade 3, so you obviously have to run 4, and it's the base form for the reverse unit. In which we go to Spectral Dupe Dragon Reverse. I don't know why they call it Dupe, but okay. But this is the reverse unit that they chosen for Gold Paladin, and I'd still find it very surprising that they didn't choose Ezel, because Ezel is more important. But anyway, so it has 3 skills. The first one is a continuous one, where if you have the Spectral Duke Dragon in Soul, plus 10k 1 crit during your turn. Unlike Duke, this is not going to stay 13k base. But it does get the trade-off where it's more powerful and it also has the extra crit. So there's that one first trade-off right there. The second trade-off is the second skill where at the end of battle attack, counterblast 1, lock 3 of your rear guards and stand this unit and drive -1 to end turn. So just like Duke, it restands, but instead of straight up retire, you lock them instead. That in a way is saving your rear guards more so than anything because, well, you don't need to be refilling your board every single turn in comparison with Duke. Now, Duke is still going to be the main one that you want to use for the restand because you have some retire skills and you want to activate them. And also because Duke has triple drive with the restand. This one doesn't. But the last skill, which is the third one, is actually the main part that you want to combo off with either Duke or itself, where auto from hand. At the end of the battle that your Vanguard attack, if you have 5 or more damage, you can counterblast 2, lock 3 of your rear guards, and ride this card from your hand as stand, but you cannot activate auto abilities for the rest of the turn. This is so you can't play the second skill, because otherwise that's going to be 4 Vanguard attacks in a turn, and that is very possible. And that is very possible if you have 2 of these in hand and enough counterblast and you have Excel markers. So you do have that to do the superior ride twice, but usually no. That's why I run 3, because you're mainly using this for the superior ride part. You don't really want to use it for the second skill restanding too much, especially the drive -1 with its restand, but you use it for the last skill where superior rides itself. And that is very powerful. It is counterblast 2, so you're not going to use this too often. So that's one of the reasons why I putting it at 3. You do want to see it in your hand, but you're not going to be superior riding it too often like it's a Raging Form Dragon, because counterblast 2. And of course, the other reason is that you have to be at 5 damage, so you have to be actually close to death to actually play it. And it's similar to Duke in a way where you want to be at 4 damage for its full power. But still pretty cool and very powerful unit indeed to combo off with. And then for the next grade 3s, because this one's been hit, you run only 1 Percival now. And Percival is a staple for Gold Paladins because it lets you get 1 imaginary gift Ezel on place along with the Aglovel. What's not to love? And then for my last grade 3, I run full Cavalier Dragon because on Act you can Soul Blast 1, call the top card of your deck, and then your Vanguard gets plus 5k power, which does fix some of Spectral Duke's problem of being low power on its own. And you get a call on top of that, which is also what you want. If you're on Dupe at that point, you're probably not going to be using this, but on Duke, this is very helpful. So that's it for the grade 3s. To the grade 2s. Obviously, 4 copies of the Ride Chain itself, Black Dragon Knight Vortimer, where if you have Scout of Darkness Vortimer in Soul, it becomes a 10k base on both Vanguard and Rearguard. Very nice. The second skill is if it's retired by card ability, you can put its Soul and countercharge 1. This is so you can put your Spectral Duke at full power just in case you miss ride, and that's important. Also, countercharge is also very important, and this will activate quite often with Spectral Duke, especially you're not going to be using Dupe until you're at least 5 damage. And then third skill is that if Spectral Duke rides on top of it, like a top 5 cards, to call 2 cards from among them. So obviously main grade 2 ride target, and this is also why you want to ride Duke first, is because of that third skill. So of course you run 4 because it's your main ride target, your main countercharge engine, obviously. Continue off. The backup ride target, technically, Oath Liberator Aglovel, because on place on Vanguard, you get counterblast 1, look at top 3 to call 1 card from among them to rearguard, and it's also for Percival reasons, so obviously you should run this. But the second skill, where when it attacks, you can put another rearguard to Soul plus 10k into the end of that battle, and then at the end of the battle, return this to the hand. This used to be your big beater for a Gold Paladin, but with Spectral Dupe, it can be a detriment because you put a rearguard to Soul and then put this back to hand. That's 2 rearguards you lost on the field. And that could be 2 lock targets for Spectral Dupe that you want to be using. So that can be a detriment, actually. And it has become a little more of a detriment, and I haven't been using that skill as often the minute I'm trying to use Spectral Dupe. But it is still a good beater, and it's just mainly used with Percival now. But I don't really use that second skill when I'm not using Dupe. On regular Dupe turn, go ahead and use it as a beater. But if your main goal is Dupe at that point, that second skill will be a detriment. Finally, for Advance of the Black Chain Kaiden. So on place, you can counterblast 1, discard a card, look at top 3 to call 1. If you have Poel on your Vanguard or Rearguard, you can draw a card along with it. It's just there to get some more calls, trigger some on-call abilities, discard any fodder that you don't need. It's just that stuff, and there's really no other good grade 2 Gold Paladins to really run. So that's it for the grade 2 lineup. To the grade 1 lineup, obviously 4 copies of the main Ride Chain card, that being Scout of Darkness Vortimer. So placed on Vanguard, look top 7 for your grade 2 or grade 3 Ride Chain, aka Black Dragon Vortimer or Spectral Duke Dragon. Very standard right there. Second skill, when retired by card ability, you can put this Soul plus 5k to your Vanguard. That will help out with Spectral Duke's power problem, so obviously you should be running 4 of these. And also, it's very important to have in Soul so your Black Dragon Vortimer can be its 10k base. And the fact that it can put itself to Soul from that also can fix the problem. Obviously not as important as Black Dragon Vortimer, but still very helpful. And then for the backup ride target, Fast Chase Liberator Joseph, where when rolled upon, call the top card of your deck. That's fine, that's why it's just the backup ride target, but you're mainly not going to ride this, especially with the second skill, where when placed on reguard from deck, you can Soul Blast 1, countercharge 1. Then you can Soul Blast another card to draw a card. You mainly use it for the counter charge, and everything I Superior Call will be from deck anyway, so obviously I'm just running this for that purpose. And it's better than Din Drain in a way, but I have thought about going back to Din Drain because sometimes the draw does help compared to wanting to do the counter charge when there's no need to. And then I run 3 Hoels because when a card is placed in the same column as this unit, plus 5k, but if you have Kaiden on your field, plus 10k instead. So it's just there for more power play. Obviously, you only run this because Kaiden is here, and there are better options, but considering that Kaiden's being played, I decided to play this, and that extra power really helps out for big beater columns, and that's been proven really well. Finally, 2 grade 3 searchers because grade 3 searcher. And then for my starters, Spring Breeze Messenger. Still, unfortunately, we don't have the Vortimer for the starter, but hey, this is the closest we can get. And then trigger lineup, the 8 crits, the 4 draw PGs, and of course the 4 heal guardians. So that's it for this deck profile of my Spectral Dupe Dragon deck, or Dupe Dragon deck. What do you guys think of it? What other changes would you make, or what other recommendations? I just gave you my list, and so far I've been really liking it. Yeah, sure, we basically got 1 new card, and that's basically the only change that we got. And also the Percival hit, which is going to be to 1 anyway at that point. So, and it's also been a while since I did an updated deck profile, and because of those 2 changes, I decided to just do it and just explain my thoughts to it. It is unfortunate that Percival has been hit because now Bluish Flames has been completely hit, and I do really like Bluish Flames in comparison. So I went back to Duke because of that, but with the Holy Shine Dragon, I went back to building the Bluish Flame deck because of that, and I will do a profile on that one. But anyway, overall, I do like the deck. It has been working really well, especially with the Dupe Dragon. It has gone a little scary, and sometimes my opponent puts me to 5 damage too early, and with Dupe and Duke together, that actually has been very nasty right on my first grade 3 ride turn, and that has happened before. Especially the restand of Duke comes first, and then you go for the Dupe right after with all those attacks. So working out really well, and the drive checks as well. The only thing that still surprised me, kind of, is the Spectral Duke being the reverse unit instead of Ezel. But overall, I am glad to see more Spectral Duke support. I was only expecting Chromejailer to be that, but I'll take it. Other than that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.